And welcome to everyone that's joining us. We've already got almost 30 people watching the stream. We've got Merv, Nick and Sam backstage currently in the green room. We're hopefully going to be joined by V. Those of you hoping to see Amy or listen to Amy, she's got a bit of sinus problems at the moment. So she's not sure if she can make it. She might jump on for 5 minutes. She's with her mom and dad. And I just want to say a big welcome to everyone that's already leaving messages in the chat. We will try and get some of your comments up there. Me and Manny are going to try and work through some of the latest developments at Wolves. Obviously, we're going to touch on the transfers. We'll touch on the kit, won't we, Manny? But the breaking news today was whilst we're going live tonight, because we've had a load of requests and stuff on Twitter, Instagram, and Manny, you've been monitoring the Facebook pages today, is about the announcement today about the new, membership plus. Manny, do you want to just go into a little bit more about that? And for those that are not sure or watching this back, just tell them what's happened today.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. I think it came as a, let's be a shock and a surprise. I'm not a member, and I know Dave isn't. But I used to be a member, so I do know how it works. And accruing points and building your totals up is like a key aspect of membership. So you can get into a position, maybe one day you can get a season ticket or you can go to matches that you can't get to. So they dropped an email to not random, but high earning points members to say that they were scrapping the loyalty point scheme for members. And then they were offering members a chance to buy a membership plus, My Wolves Plus, for an extra £20 when they've already paid for their membership. And that would prioritise them to purchase tickets for 6 of the 19 fixtures. Now, if you've, accrued 400 points, you're going to attend all those fixtures anyway, because you've earned that right to do so. Now that was going to be wiped away from you, and potentially you were going to be in a free-for-all in 13 matches, or it's 14 of the matches, 13 matches, that's right, 13 of the matches in a free-for-all with everybody else, unless you paid up 20 quid. So I think it was just something out the blue. They've said they've listened to the wider fan base. But the thing is, because it's come out the blue, it's obvious that no fans know where this information has come from or where the consultation happened. So it's a poor move, I think. You have to respect that there are new fans who want to get tickets, and maybe you could have had a ballot for 500 tickets maybe or something, where you can, have a ballot of people who can't get tickets, but honour the loyalty of the loyal fans. Just because somebody hasn't got a season ticket, just because somebody hasn't got an away season ticket, it doesn't make them any less of a fan. And those people have earned the right. They've been to away days, they've been to cup matches, they've been to, some of the more unglamorous matches, and now they're going to be classed as the same as my mate down the road who wants to buy a membership because he wants to go and watch Man United at home next year. So the whole the email, the way it was done, the communication, very poor. I think it's, I'm usually quite mild-mannered. I'm quite, balanced, and I can see both sides. But I have to say,
we have to put the both sides, because and Manny, I know that we've seen there's a lot of anger, and to be honest, we've got Merv, we've got Paul from Somerset, we've got V, and of course we've got Sam Payne. And I would say that Merv, Paul, V and Nick, who's backstage, I think they're all quite mild-mannered fans. They're not fans that rant and get, go and rant. They're always really positive, very loyal fans. But the Wolves will argue, and their argument on guess will be that, and there are some fans of saying, although we've not got those on the chat tonight, I don't think, but you're welcome to come on. They would say that there are certain members that get all the tickets and some other members don't ever get a chance. And that's maybe one of the arguments. But there is an argument as well that they have, if they were going to do something like this, it should all been announced at the same time, because people have bought their memberships in good faith. And then out of the blue, this emails, it's been spun as a benefit, but it's all about the extra £20, I'm guessing, on the finances. And shall we get our first one on? I'm going to get Merv, I'm just going to get Paul Somerset Wolf on first, if that's okay, mate, because he's literally from work in Somerset, 5 minutes. And let's get him on before he goes. So we're going to bring on Paul. Paul, you often see him on Twitter. Lovely bloke. Paul, welcome to the show tonight with me and Manny. I know you're at work and you've only got a period of time. You're a member, are you not?
Yes.
Let's give me and Manny your thoughts on how you're feeling today from that statement that's come out from Wolves, and tell me about the email that you've received.
Hi, Manny. You're right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got it on the. It just came up today on the news saying that I bought my membership about 6 weeks ago, like I do every year, and it's come up to say that they've all been we're saying, well, just ditched it now. The loyalty points. It's ridiculous. Yeah. I don't understand why. You know, so I'm not going to get a chance now to get to Molyneux because it's just going to be hard. Everyone will be on the computer booking up tickets, and it's hard enough to get them as it is because we've got a small ground. You know, I just don't understand it really. I
think Paul just said one thing.
Paul, the main loyalty, isn't it?
Yeah, Paul, you just said that it's a small ground. Now, this is the issue for me. You know, if we had a 60,000-seater stadium, then giving 4,000 tickets away or 5,000 tickets away on a first-come, first-served, no one's going to have a problem. When you've only got 27,000 tickets to give away and 23,000 season ticket holders, you can't give that much of a proportion away. You've got to give a pot of 500, maybe 600, which is more equal, and then that pot goes to first come, first served. The rest, but you, Paul, you shouldn't lose 400 odd points that you've earned in good faith.
Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous. I just, I don't know what to think really. It's just, I don't know. If, when Daryl Wimple went, I think he was the connection between the fans and the club. And I just think it's gone down since he's gone. There's something going on, and
you're not the only person that's ever said that.
It's all about money, and of course, Wolves now in the Premiership, we're going to want the best players and spend what we can on players, and we're going to suffer for it, I suppose.
Paul, I mean, question for you as a membership with points that you've had this email, will you be paying the extra £20?
Well, we got how long? We only got a little while to pay.
30th of July.
We've got 10 days.
Yeah, I will do. If I have to, I have to.
You were almost forced into a corner. Let's be honest. It's saying that
would it guarantee me?
Yeah.
Would it guarantee me any more? So it gives me 6 games per season to get a chance to go and see.
Yeah.
Is it fair to say you're upset, Paul?
Yeah, I'm shocked. Yeah, it's like anyone, I suppose. It's not just me. It's not fair, you know. It's I know a lot of people haven't seen the club before, and they miss out. But that's what the loyalty is all about. You get your membership, you get your 100 points, and you build on that. And then before lockdown come, I saw 10 games that season, and it all stopped. And I don't know.
Well, there's Carl said, as they've gone against what they said, the fans of people mentioned this to the supporters trust group about this. Well, we've got Sam Payne, who's the chairman of the new supporters trust, and we'll be asking him that question when he comes on the show a little bit later. And Paul, you know,
how do you feel about it, Dave?
Pardon?
I know you're a season ticket holder and that, but how do you feel about it?
Well, I have to kind of try and be a little impartial, but obviously I don't like seeing fans upset. I'm a bit like Manny, always try to be really, really positive. about everything. And I was a bit surprised. I mean, I work in sort of marketing and sales myself, and I just think it's a bit of an own goal. But the fact that there's still stuff apparently on the website about the loyalty points. Now, let's be clear that Wolves have said that the loyalty points will still be attributed to away matches, but
and
then
cup games.
And cup games, but then to come out with this extra charge, I know they want to raise funds and stuff like that. It's tough because how much is a standard membership?
35 quid for an adult, and now it's raised to 55.
So you're basically 55 quid, and obviously
55 quid, Dave. Let's be honest, for a hat and some socks.
Yeah. So I can see both sides of the argument in some ways, because I can understand that there are some members out there that probably feel frustrated that they can't get tickets, and there are other members that have been very loyal and going when they can, who can't get a season ticket. I mean, let's face it, there's a lot of members, and there's over a 10,000 waiting list, I think, to get a season ticket. So it's the only way they can get to games to see Wolves. And
I'm on the waiting
maybe
list,
maybe it should have been done in a different way, whether there was 1,000 tickets that were available for the free for all, and then there was 2,000 split for everyone else. I think that might have been more.
They needed a split. That's my argument, Dave. They needed a split, and this is everything. All the members in one pot. If you've got 400 points, if you've got 0 points for 13 of the games, they're putting you in the same pot. That's my argument. Put those in a pot of 1,000, or I reckon 500 to 1,000, where it's first come first served if you've never been before, and the rest of you, just base it on your loyalty points. We've got a small stadium. It's not our fault we haven't got a small stadium, but they know demand is there. They know the stadium is small, so they can make these decisions because they know people will pay and come. So
Chris makes the point as well. The thing is, you can only get away tickets as a member as well.
No,
I think there's some. I mean, there's Ian Darby said if it was a £55 and they'd known that at the start, they probably would have paid it. I think it's the way it's come across that's upset people, and the way it's been communicated. Which, Wolves have been fairly decent, but there has been things like there was things communicated with the ticketing for the Man United game before in the October, and then it was kind of different when it came out with the way it was done, and I was frustrated with that. And I just
none of this was mentioned. We saw the Ask Wolves videos, and we didn't really have an inkling from that either. They talked about ticketing, and the guy behind the ticketing, Vinnie Clark, was there, and there was nothing really mentioned that they were going to look at revamping the membership system. To have it out the blue is not how you treat your loyal fans. You have a word with him. You send Paul a message and saying, Paul, thank you for contributing, and we're thinking of changing the system. These are our thoughts, and this is what we want to bring in. You as a loyal fan who's got 400 odd points, we want to bring you into this conversation. Please tell us your thoughts and get the opinion of the fans. And then some fans might have said, yes, we probably do need to allow a proportion of the tickets to people who can't get them due to various reasons, but not all of them. Not all of them, not people like Paul.
I agree with that. Yeah, that's very well said.
Well, I'm hoping as well, Paul. Thank you very much for coming on, and we're hoping, obviously, that I believe that there are good people down at Wolves, and they will look at this and listen. And let's hope that there would be a review because of the fan backlash. Because if they are listening to the fans on this, then maybe there's a halfway house that can be reached. But Paul, thank you so much for coming on tonight at work to make your point. And let's hope that they do look at a review for fans like you. And even if it's like a compromise, you'd be happy with that, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you. Thanks, Manny.
No problem, Paul. Enjoy your evening.
You do great work for Dementia, by the way.
Thank you very much. You do, actually. I just watch you contribute.
Take care, Paul. Thank you very much.
Take care, Paul. Cheers.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Lovely guy.
Yeah, he is a lovely bloke. I had the chance to meet him when we went to Wembley Spent a bit of time with him before Bill died, and it was a lovely day. And he's always been a big supporter of the channel, and he's a very quiet man. So for him to come on today,
Clayton Merritt has just said football is nothing without fans, and that's the type of fan. A guy who, for his own reasons, can't get a season ticket, would love one. So he then goes to the next best system, a membership system, and then it's not easy to build up 400 odd points, and he did that. And then he gets an email to say they're going to be wiped away. That's not how you talk to your real fans, I don't think.
No, absolutely. Well, let's get Merv on next, because he's making his debut, and I know he's nervous about coming on thing. But Merv is quite, again, a lovely man, big supporter, and he's not one that shouts, but he's here to have his say. So, Merv, welcome to the show, and glad for joining myself and Manny tonight. How are you feeling?
Hi, Dave. Manny, thanks.
All right, Merv. How you doing, mate?
Yeah. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, we can hear you
loud and clear.
Oh, I like your background. You got a bit of everything there.
And the garden. I'm in the shed.
You're in the shed. Go on then.
Yeah, well, it's just a kick in the teeth, the email I've had today, really. Last year, through the whole pandemic, we were told, pay for your membership, you will honour the points, and they're not, are they? That's just gone out the window today. So we paid last year with no chance of getting to a game, and we knew that, but still paid for me and my lad, and it's all for nothing.
They have said, obviously I had my own sort of chats and I've tried to find out things. They have said the points are going to remain in the background and they will be used. So if we get to a cup final or a cup semi-final, it won't be a free-for-all. They'll still look at your points. It's just for the home games. And I sort of can see a little bit where they're coming from, but it's just that they've done it to everybody across the board. People like Merv, again, Merv, you probably have, been quite loyal and tried to get where you can.
We got 400 points from last year. So
here's another one. 400 points is not easy to collect.
No, it's every Rob Cup game, every Coca-Cola Cup with the under-23s.
Well, let's be honest. Let's just you get 100 points for your membership, don't you? 100.
Yeah, so that's 20 games, isn't it?
A season ticket holder gets 1,000. So as an away fan, I've got 1,260. So in effect, Merv, you've accrued more points than me because you've accrued another 300 on top. I've only accrued another 260 on top. So this is what we're talking about. Just because he's a member, he shouldn't be punished.
And you pay your membership to stay on the season ticket waiting list, and there's no hope of getting a season ticket this side of the next 10 years. So I don't know why.
How many of you guys have got memberships in your households, Merv?
There's me, my lad, and then my brother who comes to the games with us. So there's three of us who travel together. Yeah.
Yeah, there's three of you with the members. And now does your lad? I mean, I know your lad's not on, but how's you told your lad the news? You messaged me earlier. How's he taking it?
Yeah, just disappointed. We don't know when we can get to the next game. So it was hard enough getting tickets with the old system, even with lots of points. So it's going to be a nightmare.
Don't you think, Dave? I don't know if anybody knows how many members Wolves have got. I think they've got a lot of members.
According to Chris Humphreys, who's on here now in the chat, he said they've offered it to 3,500 members.
So that means they're the high earners. They're the high earners. So probably they've got 10,000 members because membership, obviously, you can buy a membership if they're unlimited, aren't they?
Yeah, Simon Archer's saying 3,500. They claimed in the email.
But we don't know. Again, no consultations happened. Are there any fans? I would like to know, are there any fans who fed back to the club in consultation and said, oh, I'm not happy, please can you bring out a new system because we don't get tickets? Because that's probably where it started from, surely. It can't just be off their own back.
Sam Payne's just messaged us in the private chat group because he's backstage. Yeah. He's basically said there are over 12,000 members. And who's going to be coming on and giving us some interesting news a little bit later in the show, said the waiting list has over 10,000. Based on that alone, it would be a minimum of 10,000 members. So
12,000 members. So 3.5 is probably right as a high.
There's 4,000 tickets each match up for grabs. something like
Well,
that.
if you take 3,000 out for the away fans, take them out straight away, and the segregation and stuff that happens, and you take the 23,500 out for your season ticket holders, what you got? 4,000, 3,000, 4,000.
Merv, if you was to get some sort of like the club are listening to what people like you are saying, what would be the ideal solution for you, trying to weigh up both sides of the argument to allow other members, because there are so many, the chance to get to games, but also valuing the fact that there are loyal members over a long period of time that's been going for many years, like yourself, your boy, and your other family member. What would be a compromise for you?
Well, if they'd have filled the corner in like they said they were and made more seats available, then you could understand, well, they'll leave a portion out for new people to come.
Yeah.
But the ground's the same as it was.
Yeah.
And I would say somebody who goes once or twice a year, they're going to spend more on the concourse than we do, going 10 to 20 times.
Yeah.
So it's all about money.
Will you pay the extra £20?
I'll leave it till the last minute and see what happens. But I probably will, because that's the only chance we're going to get to go to a game, really.
So
we were secretly hoping for a quicker U-turn than Boris today, but it doesn't happen.
It'll be paid begrudgingly.
So if you got something to say, and there was any senior management listening to you right now, and you could sum up what to say something in like 10 seconds, what would you say before we finish with?
Reward the loyal fans. We supported the club last year through the pandemic, paying the memberships, but nothing in return. So just repay the favour and be loyal to us.
Fantastic. Merv, thank you very much for coming on tonight. I know you're always nervous coming and facing up. But
he's a pro.
I'm on top as well tonight. So.
It wasn't so bad, was it, Merv?
No, it was all right.
Right. You got the England flag, the Wolves flag, and you got what? Who's that? Darth Vader, is it?
Yeah. Your empire needs you.
Are you a big Star Wars fan, Merv?
Oh, yes. Massive.
And me, mate. Nice. Good one. Thanks for coming on, buddy.
Oh, thanks for having me. Keep well, Dave. Man.
Okay, cheers.
Cheers, mate. So that's Merv giving his thoughts on...
And a loyal samosa eater is Merv.
And just to let you know, we've got V, who's going to be coming on later, because she's might have some interesting news to tell us. We've got Simon, and we've got Sam. Sam will be on last. Sam, you'll be on last but one. Is that okay, mate? Fantastic. So let's get Nick on next. Often seen on Twitter under the username Nag. Is that correct, Nick?
Hey, how do you, Manny? Yeah, that's me.
There you go. Welcome to the show, Nick, and thanks for getting in touch to come on today. And we're great to that you come on. We often see you on Twitter commenting, always really in a good way. You're not, and for you to come on to have your say tonight, what have you got to say about today and from your perspective?
Well, I share much of what Merv and Paul said before me. I'm unfortunately, I haven't got as many loyalty points as them because I haven't been as many games, so I've not been invited. So I won't, I'll be in there with everybody else for those tickets. For me, it splits into two. It's one, you're asking people who've already paid out 35 quid or 30 quid when it's advertised to fork out another 20 quid for something which they've paid for already. Not quite sure how that works from consumer law. And then you've also got the whole ethos of how this has come out across to everybody. It stinks, to be honest. Not impressed. As you say, Dave, I'm usually fairly sort of pragmatic about these things. Don't go off on a rant about everything. I can see where the game's going, but this is taking the Michael out of everybody, to be honest.
I don't think, Nick, I've ever seen a negative sort of post off you. You always try and, even when fans have got their temper up on some subject, you try and temper it with a bit of balance. So, if people like Nick and Paul and Merv, who are very mild-mannered fans who look at things with balance, if they're getting peed off with this, then there's something wrong. It's, there's something, and I think it's more than just taking all your points and charging us 20 quid. It's just being thought and being devalued as a fan. That's how these people feel. Like, we haven't been consulted. We haven't been told. They've just ripped all my loyalty away. And that means a lot to fans. You know, the players leave. The manager leaves. Well, the chief exec will leave. The ticket office manager will leave. You know, the fan will still be there.
Well, as I said, I mean, as I've been saying to my kids, with players leaving, over this time, both on the men's side and the women's side, the players go, the managers go, but the fans remain. That it's the the fans are the heartbeat of the club, and that's they seem to have taken us slightly for granted, especially the people on the membership who are waiting for season tickets to come up, and they're quite often, I mean, I'm Cambridgeshire, obviously I know there'll be people who drive further than me matches, but I've coaching and doing things on. Coaching football on Saturdays and Sundays, so I don't get to go to the games, as much as I'd like to. But what I do, I want to try and, I want to show my loyalty. Like others, I had my membership last season. I knew even if the gates opened early, there'll be no chance of me getting a ticket because it would go to season ticket holders. Quite rightly, it would go to season ticket holders last season. But I was happy to pay my membership, and this season, as soon as the membership came up, I renewed it. Because I wanted to show a bit of loyalty to the club. They've been loyal to not just myself and the fans, but also to their staff, who they've kept on through the pandemic. They just chucked it, and if they'd brought it in at the start of that point when they said, right, this is what we're going to be doing, this is the plan, you can then make the decision. But you've taken everyone's money under false pretenses, to be honest. And I think, I understand where, I think as you said, Manny, about early doors, they could be looking to try and get as many people into the ground as possible, but having you getting fewer games, so it's not the closed shop that they're worried about. I understand that, but there are other ways of doing it. I think.
What do you think if you could ask the management, the directorship, and with a solution to this issue, because there are some good, honest, loyal fans who live far away who haven't been able to come. They've purchased a membership and they never get tickets. So how can we appease them as well?
I think there needs to be banding, so X number of tickets per band as well. So therefore, once those tickets sell out, so if there's 12,000, members, not everyone's going to be there, but if there's only 4,000 tickets, you split it into 4 bands. So if you've got over X number of points, you can get the first 1,000 tickets and so on, and then you set your lead 500 at the end, which is your free for all, which therefore anyone can apply for. And if you've missed out, maybe
I just thought of what you said. Maybe they could even categorise the matches. So you got the top 6 matches. So somebody who's never been to a game before would find it easier to get Burnley at home than they would to get Manchester United at home, because Nick or Paul or Merv deserves that one much more than them. So that will prove the loyalty as well. So if new fans start turning up to the Burnleys and the Brightons, and not just the big, because people have got a fear that these tickets will end up in the hands of local United and Liverpool and Arsenal and Spurs fans who will.
Manny, that's a really interesting point that you make there about that, because I think that I've heard that a couple of times today. Yeah. And to be honest, I think most members, you can understand they're members and they want to go to the games, but I think most members that want to get a ticket would take any game to go and see their team.
They would, but what I'm saying is it would stop those fans. So if you know that you can buy a membership and you've got a equal chance of getting a ticket to Man United at home because you're a Manchester United fan, it would stop those people.
Definitely. And I agree. I think, I'm happy to go to a Burnley game, a Brighton game. I was at Crusaders and Espanyol last season, 2 seasons ago. I didn't mind. I was going to see my team. I would quite happily go and see a Burnley and a Brighton or Brentford. But, as you say, the glory hunters who just want to see the Man Uniteds and Liverpools, if they're told, well, actually, you've got a 1 in 50,000 or much reduced chance of getting in there, then they won't bother. Whereas, loyal fans will say, actually, I'll take the risk.
Yeah.
But I think there's a need for the club to wind back and do the U-turn on this one, and then go out and consult properly for next season and actually come up with a solution and engage with the fan base. Because at the minute, I don't know. I've not seen anybody on Twitter who said it over it.
A little bit like out the blue. It's not even on the same level or in the same stratosphere or the same universe obviously. But like when the Super League and the Big Six announced the clubs, and there was a bit of a backlash, I think they've underestimated.
Yes.
They've probably done it in good intentions, but they've not. Whoever's they've consulted, they've not really got the right set of people to consult with. And you know, I mean, obviously the supporters' trusts were very big with the Big Six in you know, really forcing. And obviously we have Sam, which is going to be interesting because the new support.
I think V as well is a member of a group as well. So it just shows you these are the people that are members of groups, members of trusts, and even they are in the. They didn't know, you know, it came
exactly.
out.
And V's going to come on last because she's got some. I think she's going to give us some interesting information as well. So V, just make sure you come on before you come on. You put your video on. I can see you in the back. Nick, if we were to finish off with you, and you could, you know, you Jeff or any of the senior management teams are listening to you right now, if they watch this video, which I think they will, because I do know that they do check out fan stuff on Twitter and obviously on socials and watch the YouTube. If you've got something to say from your point of view, 15 seconds, what would you say right now?
Do a Boris, do a U-turn, and then sit down and consult properly with the fan groups. You've got the 1877 Trust, which is just set up. Sit down and talk to them and the other fan groups 100%. As well around the country.
Well said.
Brilliant, mate. And Nick, thanks for coming up and also being so engaging and positive on Twitter, because we know what Twitter's like.
Keep up your championing of the women's team, Nick, because no one does it more than you.
Well, fingers crossed we'll do well again this season as well. They look good on Sunday.
Exciting times for the women, and we are going to be doing a lot more coverage of the women's team next year. Hope we get to a couple of games as well, because it is fantastic. So glad that they've finally got that promotion that they deserve, and 100%. I think they'll do really well. And I wouldn't be surprised if they'll be pushing to go up to the championship. In
signed 3 or 4 really decent players as well.
Yeah, it's great news. It's really good news.
And we've got 2 small matches this season as well in that league.
Second game of the season.
Third game of the season. Third game.
Third game.
Yeah, third game of the season up at their place. Yeah, we'll I already said. Yeah, I won't mention their name, but I reckon a hat trick for Jade Cross.
Yeah, brilliant.
That would be absolutely fantastic.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Cheers, guys. Thanks a lot.
Cheers, Nick.
Cheers, guys.
Nick. Okay, mate. Bye.
Bye.
Right, that's Nick, who's again come on today, which is fantastic. We've still got Simon, Sam, chairman of the Wolves Trust, and we'll be having V come on last, who, as far as I know, is part of the match day experience group. So that'll be interesting to see what V's got to say. We're going to bring on next Simon. Hey, Simon. Thanks for
guys.
Hi, Simon.
Come on.
Thank you for the invite. It's lovely to actually meet you virtually.
Absolutely. And hopefully we'll meet you at a game.
You meet now forever.
What you got to say, Nick? Simon, sorry.
So I understand both sides of the argument. We do need to give more fans an opportunity to get down the Molyneux. The atmosphere is absolutely fantastic, and more people need to be able to experience that. But there needs to be a better compromise. I know some fans have been arguing on Twitter and Facebook saying they weren't able to get any tickets. But I know that last season I bought tickets for my parents as Christmas presents and birthday presents as a gift because they were on general sale. And I think Brighton was one of those games. And I know that some other games went down to 100 points. So there is a chance to get access to those games. There's also clever ways around it. But for fans just starting out or in the old system, going to cup games and pre-season friendlies was an easy way to start building up your points. I'm in the same boat as other people. I was a season ticket holder for 14 years in the Steve Ball, then John Ireland stand. I had to give it up because of my job and work commitments. But I've been lucky enough to then build up those points again over the years and still go and see every week. My problem is, I think the communication and the fact that fans just got this email out of the blue, but then to charge £20, which is nothing compared to what the South Bank about to pay extra, and don't even get me started on the Steve Ball. My brother's a season ticket holder in the Steve Ball. I think you are as well, Manny. Being charged an extra £100 for a stand that's dilapidated, the facilities are poor, especially for a woman, and to charge extra. And then also for those in the Billy Quiet stand, I know they get a lot of stick and say, well, they can afford it. Well, actually, it's still a lot of money to pay out of the blue. So there's a lot of issues, but with the members, there must be a better way. I think part of the problem, which were posted on Twitter, was the fact that fans were buying tickets to accrue points. So I know, I'm not going to mention names, but I know of fans that I boasted on social media that they bought a ticket for the early qualifiers, the European qualifiers, for £10 to get 10 points and not even turn up to the game, which is not allowing fans to get a chance to go and see those games. And there's also, there's obviously not everyone, but there are unscrupulous people out there that will buy a membership, will buy tickets for each game, and then sell them on for profit, and also accrue their points, so then guarantee tickets for Man United, Liverpool, and so on. I think personally, one way they could approach it is maybe scrap the paper-based tickets completely and printable tickets, and go down, because you could try and get a ticket
Manchester United, the last game of the season, they sent the tickets to your phone, to your app.
You mean you're on about digital tickets?
Yeah, that's what we did. They sent it to the phone, and you scanned your phone in. But they did give you an option to print out as well. But maybe that would be a way of stopping people sending them and maybe checking IDs. But I don't think how they're going to check 30,000 IDs. I haven't got a clue. But
I know with the World Cup, getting too excited there. With the European Championships, if you bought it through England fans, then it was linked to your phone and your mobile, so you couldn't pass it on. And if you wanted to, if you couldn't attend the game, you could sell it back to England fans. And perhaps there's a way that the club can do that. I know it alienates those people with smartphones, and that's another issue. But you've still got your smart card as well. There's only those last-minute cup games where it might be a technical issue. But for home games that are already scheduled, provide an opportunity for fans to be able to download onto the smart card or onto their smartphone that's not transferable, and then give the fans the full money back. If they can't attend, sell it back to the club and give another chance to someone else.
And Simon, there's some really good points that you bring in there. Are you a member or a season ticket holder yourself?
I was a season together for 14 years, but that actually changed because of my job. So I've been a member for several years and accrued points.
When you got your email when it came, did it come through this morning? Did your email?
It did, yeah.
What was your initial reaction? I mean, how did you? Well,
my first reaction was as Jez Moxley took over as chairman again. The biggest shock was the fact that they were charging £20. I don't understand if they turned around and said, for your loyalty, we'll guarantee you 6 games of your choice next season free of charge. That's fine. But the fact that they asked for £20 for something that we'd already paid for in principle. So last season, or the season before that, and the season before that, you knew that with your points, you get those priority windows anyway for loyalty. But now they're charging an extra £20 for that. And also in response to someone else mentioned about basically paid £35 for a pair of socks, but they forced the charge of postage on top of that, which is about another £5. Well, if you look at other clubs like Leicester City, they give you the option to not have the pack of tat, as I call it, and it reduces the price by £10 and reduces the cost of the postage as well.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, I don't object to. I think it's quite nice in some ways that Wolves do put in branded products into the pack. Because it helps the brand. I can understand that whether I know it's been a pair of socks. I mean, and let's face it, socks have all been in the news in the last week with the new kit. I mean, it's been the new Marmite subject, hasn't it? Love it or hate it, but and the kit's come out, and we'll talk about that towards the end of the show when it's just me and Manny on that stuff. But the kit's gone down very well. But I think it's quite nice that they do the membership pack and they put stuff in there. But you're basically saying that maybe there should be an option that people can have a lower price without that if they wanted.
Don't get me wrong, I love my pen. I use it all the time. I get out in meetings. But I think I've had a pair of socks for the past 3 years, the same socks.
So oh right, so I didn't know. So basically, if they're going to do a membership pack, at least update it each year with something different.
Yeah,
there was something similar. I just wanted to say to Simon, there was something similar. I was asked this question in 2003 when we won the playoff final. We got into the Premier League after 19 years, and it was so much euphoria. There was lots of people who wanted to go to games who couldn't get to games, so they launched the TPS scheme, which I was a member of. So they charge you £50 and they're guaranteed, so it wasn't priority, they guaranteed you 6 matches, which were random out of 3 different categories. So you have 2 higher placed teams, 2 middle and 2 lower, and they sent you the tickets. You could refuse them if you couldn't go and they'd sell them to someone else. They guaranteed you them. And now that was back of 19 years of euphoria, everyone just desperate to go there. People were prepared to pay absolutely anything. So it wasn't based on loyalty. It was just a scheme to try and divide the tickets up equally across everybody. So everybody would have a few tickets. So that's the kind of thing that Nick talked about earlier, where you could say the higher points earners who are at 300, 400, you've got priority. That won't go away. Everybody else, what we'll do is we'll allocate you on a pro rata basis where you will all be guaranteed 4 or 5 matches each in the season, where sometimes you wouldn't have gone. Try and divide it. Maybe it was 3 matches, maybe it's 2 matches. So it gives everybody a chance to purchase a ticket. There's so many different ways this could have been done.
I think we can't be the first club to have such success and have this issue. There must be other models out there that they can look at.
Yeah.
This is the best model, I don't know.
The main annoyance is the way it's come out. And that, like you say, Manny and Simon, it probably could have been done in a different way where you can have the best of both worlds and people can. I think most members with points would understand, because they've probably all been there, that there are probably members out there that want a chance to get a game. And if there'd been some allocation set aside for that, they'd have probably gone, do you know what?
Yeah.
That's fair enough.
That's without punishing the other loyal members.
Yeah. Exactly.
Go on, Dave.
Yeah, can you imagine if they do this when it comes to the season ticket holders with loyalty points and stuff like that? With guaranteed, can you imagine the meltdown that would happen then? Oh my God!
Well, this you can kind of another analogy is to say, well, turn around to the season ticket holders and say, well, you know what? You've been for your loyalty. We're going to scrap season tickets, and we're going to give everyone a chance to attend a match. But
I was just thinking, we Jeff Shee has time and time again said we want to try and break into that top 6, that top 7, and we finished 7th twice, and then we had a poorer season due to a lot of problems. But out of that top 6, Arsenal, Spurs, Man United, Man City, Liverpool, and Chelsea, our stadium is by far the smallest. So they've never really been clear on how they're going to address that issue. Like Merv said, they could have filled the corners in. That might have created another 1,500 spaces for tickets. Nothing has been said. Nothing has been suggested.
Well, it was talked about in the Ask Wolves series, wasn't it? They talked about it because obviously the year after Fosun came in, there was the big unveiling of the new stadium. There was the mooted that we might be moving to near the M54. Then obviously there was a listen to the fans on that, want it to stay in Molineux. It's unique where it is. They were going away to look at ways in which they could make it happen. Apparently, on that video, they did say that there was ideas and plans around doing that. And then it also came out that obviously that maybe that wasn't going to happen straight away, but they would do something with the corners to slightly increase the capacity. And also, like people have said about the Steve Bull, trying to do something to improve the facilities inside and the fan experience, because there's massive queues to get into that as well. Yeah. And then obviously Jeff has said on there that they're looking at the interest rates. Well, interest rates are as probably as low as they're ever going to be at the moment. Yeah. And it's, I mean, at the end of the day, if they build a bigger stadium and then the team suffers, everyone's going to say, why did you spend the money on the stadium? And then we're back in the Championship or League One. And you have to understand, they look at it as we threw a pandemic. There is a cash flow issue and how they do it. But ultimately, to solve this problem, you've got to expand the stadium by at least 10,000 to start with, and they've got to find a way to do this.
People are saying that, if we go down, you'll see all these fans disappear. It'll only be the law. The thing is, you can only ever talk about the present. We as fans, we only know about this. The pandemic has shown us that nothing's certain anymore. Your next game, treat it like your last one every time. Enjoy it to the fullest, and have the opportunity to go there. What happens in the future happens in the future. We don't know. It's very, and so we've got to concentrate on now, this system now. The stadium's limited, the demand is huge, and in a way, they can sort of do what they want if they wanted to, but just consult your loyal fans, talk to them, talk to these people who've been coming and putting their money where their mouth is, travelling here, there, and everywhere, and it just feels like a kick in the teeth. I'm not even a member, but I have been. For years, I was a member, and I can understand, because you had to work really hard to build up that loyalty, to get yourself in a position to try and get a season ticket. I had two lads who were growing up young, had to go to matches and take them along and just to build it up so they could have the opportunity as well. So if I'd have had that email as a season ticket holder, I'm quite upset about it not being a member, but I don't know how I'd have reacted, and I like to try and say, okay, it is what it is, and we've got to deal with it. But
I don't want to steal airtime from the next person, but maybe something you might want to raise in the next when the next person's up is my other concern is, will the website cope with 12,000 plus people trying to buy tickets? Because it didn't cope with Wembley for the semi-final. It doesn't cope. Well, it didn't cope previously for priority sales. I was an England fan for years, an England fan member, and getting tickets for England games, especially big games, with thousands of people trying to get on at the same time, would crash the servers. I could see the same thing happening the first day these tickets go on sale.
You'll be on a big queue. You will be like 25 minutes because and it's.
You get a dinosaur on the screen going across.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, Simon, thank you so much for coming
Brilliant,
on.
Simon. Brilliant
tonight. And some great comments, and welcome to come back on the like everyone who's come on tonight. Welcome to come back.
Where are you from, Simon? Which part of the country?
Wolverhampton.
Are you Wolverhampton? I know we had Paul from Somerset, and people are from all over the place. So you're a local lad.
Local, born and bred, Wolves, are we?
Yeah, same here.
Always Wolves, Simon.
Cheers.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, mate.
Some great points there from Simon, and there's some great comments again in the chat. I've been trying to put some of them. Chris Bishop's there. I'm sick and tired of season ticket holders say they're super low, but yet a lot sell them on to family and friends for away games. Carl's about showing a bit of class. Fosant certainly haven't done that today.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Class. Businesses operate. When businesses are smooth and smart because they keep the customers, because that's what we are. Fans is our word. They are a business and we're customers, and they keep the customers happy. What do our customers need?
100% clarity and communication. Tom says 55 membership is the second most expensive in the country. Wow.
Interesting point, yeah.
And Robert said, if I could get a ticket for a home game, I would have to book into a hotel for the night, but it would be worth it. Well, let's get on, because we've got V coming up last today, and she's on the fan experience group. So that's going to be really interesting to hear from V. But I've saved as well towards the end is Sam Payne, who is the chairman of the newly formed Wolves Supporters Trust. Sam, welcome to the show with me and Manny. First of all, Sam, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the Wolves 1877 Trust. And I do believe that the opening meeting is this Thursday, is it not?
It is, you're spot on. Firstly, to both of you, thank you for having me on this evening. Manny, keep up your work for dementia. We'll
thank you, Sam. Cheers.
Dave, keep your channel up and going. It's always good to watch. For those of you that are listening, the first thing I just want to pick up on there is I, as a fan, not as the fans' parliament, not as the 1870 Trust chairman, as a fan, I am disgusted with what the club has done to the members today. However, I have had a meeting with Vinny, Dave, and other members today of the Wolves team, and they did tell me that they had a focus group looking at ticketing, and that is where they'd had the information from. That is all I can say on the subject, unfortunately.
When you say focus group, Sam, which focus group would that be?
They advised us it was a ticketing focus group. Now, we couldn't get any further out of it because our meeting was to do with the trust. So we didn't go any further with that. So I'm just putting my other hat back on now. So I'm the chairman of the newly formed Wolves 1877 Trust. The trust has been set up, everybody on this link, for you, the fans. It is not governed by Wolves. We are accredited to the FSA and we have to follow the FSA regulations. We are totally independent of the club. We have no money from them. Our website isn't set up by them. They can't tell us what to do, and vice versa. We can only engage in open, honest conversation, dialogue, whatever you want to call it, with the club. It was mentioned today on our call that we will be bringing this matter up at our earliest convenience. So rest assured, we will be talking to the club about ticketing. All right. Now, for the trust itself, I was on the Fans Parliament and I was invited on by the club. It took me years to get on it. They choose who they want on it. And as soon as I was on that Fans Parliament, I realised it wasn't open. They would talk about what they wanted to talk. So over the pandemic, myself and other supporters and some of the Fans Parliament members decided and took the decision that a trust had to be set up. This is what other clubs do in the country now, right the way down to non-league clubs. They have trusts. People will only have heard about trusts for the clubs like Blackpool that have been in trouble, etc. We needn't go on, Berries and all of those. They've had trusts to try and save their clubs. They've raised money and done things like that. We're not about that. We are about opening dialogue with the club, talking to them about the fans' thoughts, their concerns. So we're talking about ticketing tonight. So you get where we're coming from. We need you, the fan base, to come and join us and become members so that we can put your voices to the club. You will get a say in what happens.
Sam, can I just come in? I'd like to invite you to, and maybe another member of the supporters, the Wolves 1877 Trust, to come on and do a specific video on the trust that maybe in the next couple of weeks. Because, I mean, there has been the Fans Parliament, especially, was formed initially by the club, constituted by the club, and then obviously it's got a bit of it has got this a closed shop, the Blazer Brigade type of thing.
You're totally right.
And it's really become a laughing matter from in some ways. People tend to think, oh, it's just that they're not representative of us. And it's a closed shop. Can I ask you, just before we move on to the subject of the membership, is this trust open to any Wolves fan? And if they want to join, what are the conditions to be able to join the trust?
Of course, you can ask that. That's what I'm here for. So being open with you, it's open to any fan. You might be in this country, you might be abroad, anywhere. If you're a Wolves fan, you can join. The membership is split into two groups. We have individual adult members, £5 a year. That is one of the cheapest trust memberships in the country. And we also have done a family membership of 2 adults and 2 under 16s. So if you've got kids that want to get involved, want to have their talk about, I don't know, Wolfie and Wendy or whatever it might be, you can do it as a family. You will get voting rights at the AGM. The trusts are set up with board members. Those board members have to be voted in by the fans within a year of the trust being set up. So at the moment, I am the interim person. I probably won't be there in a year's time. It could be anybody else that's listening on this call, as long as you've joined us. So I've just seen a message come up there. How do you join? Pop onto our website, www.wolves1877trust.co.uk. Click on the membership page. There's a link. It'll take you onto our software that will take your details. It'll ask you about areas that you're interested in within the club. So if it's ticketing, if it's stadium, whatever it is, click in what you're into. There you go. Somebody's kindly put that up for me.
That's me.
Thank you. All right, Dave. I didn't see your name above there. Sorry. So yeah, jump onto there. You can sign up. As I say, whether it's a family or a single individual, you can join. You will then be invited to come to meetings, annual general meetings, monthly meetings, focus groups, whatever we decide to set up. The idea is that we can get more people involved and not just that chosen few. Dave, you were totally right. 2006, the Fans Parliament was set up by one certain Jez Moxey. It was along with help from Stuart Kane, who is now at Worcester Cricket Club, and they set it up as a medium where they could talk to fans, but they invited fans they wanted onto it. Now, that can never be open, honest discussion. That is always a discussion around something they want to talk about. So turn it round, separate from it. Don't actually be sort of led by the club. Be your own body, which the trust is. It's set up as a non-profit organisation. You can look at our books each year. It's all going to be published. We have to follow the FSA guidelines.
Sam, can I just ask a couple of questions? The first one is, you've just mentioned the focus group. Wolves advertised fairly openly on social media about a couple of months ago, maybe longer, that are any fans interested in joining focus groups in 4 or 5 different areas, right?
Yeah,
so they've set up, it looks like you just told us that they've set up this focus group which concentrates on ticketing, which is what they said they would do. And they've consulted that focus group to make this decision. Now, you as the trust, where do you come in if they've already got a group? How are they going to listen to you?
We will challenge it. Now, on our meeting today, we have spoken about this area as to where we come in. We have sent them an open letter asking them to sign up to dialogue with ourselves. They're currently taking that to the board and Jeff Shee. We will know more before our launch meeting, which is Thursday evening. We come in. If the club decide to set up a group of fans and invite them on, we will mirror that with our own independent focus group on it. So if you're not invited to go and join Wolves, they don't deem you as one of their preferred fans, as it might be, come and talk to us. We'll have a focus group especially for that. Make your points heard. We can then take those with our discussions with the likes of Vinny, Russell, Dave Wood, Laura, whoever it might be that is in that area at the club.
You know, Jeff Shee did say in Ask Wolves, when he was asked about the Fans Parliament, he quite clearly brushed it off as something that he thought didn't work. And so when he gets the message that there's something called the Wolves 1877 Trust, what's stopping him thinking, oh, it's like the Fans Parliament again, we've got our focus groups? How are you going to convince them that you are the people they should consult?
The first thing we want to point out to you is I've been a member of that parliament for just shy of 4 years, so right at the point where Fossen took over. Do you know how many meetings Jeff Shee actually attended in my time going to that?
Probably none.
None. Okay. He mentioned in those Ask Wolves that he'd been to 10 or more meetings. He was getting himself muddled up with attending focus groups that he thought were fans' parliaments. So he didn't actually know what the parliament was about in our idea. So he was a little bit derogatory in his comments that he'd made. So we've broken away. We did not see the fans' parliament as the way forward for fans to interact with the club. We saw the trust as the way forwards. Hence, we've worked for 18 months to set it up. We're now registered, as I say, with the FSA. We've got our own website. We do our own social media. You name it, we will be doing it ourselves, not through the club. We will go to the club with concerns, whatever it is the fans want to talk about, and we will raise it. And we'll get our voices heard. That's what it's all about, getting the fans' voices heard and interacting. My big thing is, as a member, as a season ticket holder, as an away season ticket holder, whatever membership you hold, you are a stakeholder in that club. You pay your money to that club. You should have a say in how it's run. Come and talk to the trust.
Sam, just before we talk about the membership and your views on that, just very, very quickly, can you just tell everyone where the meeting is on Thursday evening if people want to turn up? And do they have to pay their £5 membership to get in on that night?
Right. Okay. So the first thing is the meeting is an open meeting. However, we are using the Emerald Club, which is just at the back of the Untouchables on the Cannock Road. It has got a limited seating capacity at the moment. Even though the social distancing has been raised, they have requested that we limit our numbers. So we have used an Eventbrite to do free tickets. So yes, you can get in, get yourself a free ticket, go onto our website, click on the link to come to the launch. It starts at 7:30 on Thursday night. So there's a car park there and there's parking in Cross Street North. So come along. You don't have to be a member initially, but I think when you've been and you've had a chat with us, you'll probably want to join up and join us.
Okay, and Sam, you will come on and in a couple of weeks, and we'll talk more, and people can ask more in-depth questions about.
Of course, they can.
Tell us about
Can I just say to the fans, like a lot of people have rubbished the Parliament and the people who are in the Parliament. Sam's quite aware of that, and some of the others who are members of that. You know, this is your chance then to go and ask these guys to go to that place and say to them, how are you different? How are you going to take our concerns forward without being a closed shop, without towing the party line, because that's what the club have told you? You know, how are you going to be different? And this is an opportunity for Sam and the trust to explain themselves. So if you have got that concern, go and ask them, email them. You've got a website address there. There's a chance for you to have your say. And Sam has already, I don't think any other fan got in touch with Vinnie Clark or Dave. You know, I don't know if any other fans did, but he did. So he's gone out his way.
Well, I think V might be able to give us some information on that when she comes up next as well.
She will. Yeah. What I'll say to you, Dave, I will get one of our young members. So we've got people that are older than myself. I'm in my 50s. We've got people in their 70s that are members of the trust now. We've got people from abroad. I've got members as young as 15. Okay. Yeah. What I'll do is I'll get one of our younger members to come on that. He's FSA. He's a member of the FSA as well. So he'll be able to tell you lots of things that he does, as well as how the trust then interacts with the FSA. So I think you'll find that interesting.
We'll set that up for a couple of weeks. And Manny, if you want to join us on that as well to ask the questions, more than welcome to do that as well if you're free.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
And before we get on to the membership quickly, and then I can bring in V, Chris Humphreys wants to know, can you join virtually? Because obviously there's certain fans that aren't going to be able to get to clubs. Will they be able to join and watch virtually?
What I'm trying to do for you, and I'm just talking to one of my colleagues at the moment, going to see if we can get a Zoom link set up. What you'll need to do is, can you email me, chairman@wolves1877trust.co.uk with your email address, and I will see if I can get you set up on a Zoom link so that you can see that meeting on Thursday night. This is all about being open so people can see what is happening.
Maybe even if you can't do the Zoom link, Sam, or you have any troubles, if you can record it yourself.
We'll record it and we'll get it put out on your channel, Dave.
Try and air it somewhere, you know, for people to watch later.
I'm sure Dave would put it out for us.
Yeah.
No problem at all, mate. I'll do that for you. Sam, just to finish off, can you just give us your thoughts from the trust perspective on the membership and a solution that you'd propose?
I would have liked to see the club, if they would, basically rescind what they've put out today, sit down and have some open discussions with their own focus group and with the trust focus group on what we could do for the membership. The big issue for the club is, and remember, we've got 32,000 seats now with the way they've reconfigured everything. We have got more than 20,000 season ticket holders, and we've got 12,000 members. So theoretically, we can more than fill that stadium. So something needs to be done to put everything on a level playing ground. I obviously buy a season ticket home and away. Other people that have been on here have bought memberships because of work. I think the big thing here is we need to find a level playing field for everybody that can get you to some games, but on a fair term that isn't going to cost you another £20 a year. I mean, I said this, if you look at season ticket holders and the prices that have been put up this year, if you're a family, two adults and two children under 16, your season tickets are going to cost you in the Billy Wright stand over £2,000. Now,
I've paid 1,400 in the Steve Ball for three of us, you know.
Yeah, there you go. So that answers the question. So you take that now to these people that are buying memberships. These are people in London, Somerset, as we've seen tonight. There's people up in Scotland, in Glasgow. They travel down once they can get a ticket.
400 miles overnight. Some people have to book hotels. And
400 miles in a car, book a hotel, buy your ticket. It all adds up. They're spending money. Wolves, listen to the fans. If there's any of you, the board members, Vinny, Simon, any of you, if you're listening tonight, take this on board. Please come and talk to us. Let's
and
do
these
something
are
for these
these
fans.
are people who just like to moan and just we will applaud the club when they make the right decisions.
Okay,
and, you know.
Just so you all know, I've just logged on Facebook while we're on. I've picked the first comment I've come across. This is for Angela. I won't say your surname, Angela.
Yeah.
Against her better judgment, she's going to pay the £20 for the Star Plus membership, she's called it.
Yeah.
She said it's a poor show on the Wolves. They can't find her email address, despite them emailing her. She says in some ways she feels like saying, put it where the sun doesn't shine. But she might end up having to pay it to be able to get to games. So if you say that to all those 12,000 people, or did you say it's 3,500 that have been asked? Work it out yourself how much money they're trawling in from 3,500, £20.
Yeah, that's right.
It's
This is 70,000 quid.
Yeah, it isn't a club that needs the money. Yes, the pandemic's accepting it's put the books the wrong way around, but Fosun are a multi-billion-pound business.
70 grand to have this type of upset in the fan base. Let's come on.
I'll tell you what. If there's any players watching tonight, okay, Connor Cody, anybody like that, if you're watching tonight, chuck a week's salary in and stop these dedicated fans from having to spend extra money. Come on, do the right thing, players. You vote with your feet and show us how much you care about the fans who come weeks in, week out.
To be fair, Sam, a lot of the players, especially the likes of Connor, do a lot for
they do.
For good causes. I think Connor's enjoying a well-earned break with his family at the moment. Whether or not he's choosing to watch,
never know.
I don't know. But a lot of the players do a lot to help.
I think it's another. There's an argument. The other argument is a lot of people have quite clearly said the soul of football. I don't think soul ever gets destroyed. I think it gets hidden and covered. So the soul of the club is hidden in the mire of all this money, revenue. How do we increase it? How do we get more successful? And you lose the sight of what is your reality, and how do we keep the balance so we still protect that?
That's right. Can I just before I leave you? I just let you know?
Got the waiting very patiently.
The listeners and your viewers tonight have brought up about stadium. Okay.
Yeah.
The Wolves Fosun are being hounded by the council about the plans that have been put in because they have to change the road network to cope with an extra 30,000 fans that could be coming to games. That's how big a stadium redevelopment we're talking. That is why it's not happened in the closed period and due to the pandemic, folks. It isn't something they can just turn the tap on and do straight away. The council have got to sign it off for them. I'll just leave you with that.
Well, yeah, there's and the bigger the wheel, the longer it takes to turn, isn't it? But I think on the stadium, and maybe we'll have to come back to this on another subject another time. But I think just the fans just want some clarity on the roadmap. I mean, how long, when, this type of thing. So there's some planning. There's a lot of stakeholders involved in that, isn't there, Sam? So
there's lots of things that we don't get to hear about as fans. We saw the plans. We saw what they were looking to do with the South Bank as a single tier. They were planning on rebuilding in front of the Steve Ball, etc., etc. The problem is they want places like Molyneux Way and the Waterloo Road and things like that. They need redirecting and traffic measures putting in. And at the moment, I don't think they can reach agreement. So it keeps stalling. They've even got a planning company on board that specialise in football stadium developments, and they are getting at loggerheads. So it will happen, but whether that's 5 years' time, we don't know.
Looks like they're going for that end goal of having a super duper stadium rather than spending money gradually, improving things and filling corners in and going step by step. Maybe.
Yeah, that looks like it, because what would it have cost to put the extra 500 seats under that or around that scoreboard?
How quickly in 2003 did they fill that corner in, because they knew, we got into the Premier League after 19 years. In a second, that was in the Jez Moxie days, where you got that corner filled. If we wanted to, we could get a couple of corners filled or one corner filled and create 700-800 extra seats and just say, right, these are reserved for people who can't go. Everyone else carry on, and then we'll review the situation.
I think the other thing that they could do is with season ticket holders that can't attend games, can't those season tickets be offered to these fans that have been waiting on the memberships? that's another way that they can get it. Instead of putting them back on sale, the season ticket holders, I'm sure, would willingly give their seat for a member who can't buy a ticket every week. Yeah. So it's just another thought. I mean, if you do sell a ticket back to the club at the moment, you only get a proportionate of what your season ticket for that game costs. So I'd be far happier to let somebody have my seat that can't go to every game.
And Sam, thank you so much for joining tonight, and check out just tell on the website again quickly if you finish off, and the social handles as well.
Okay, right. So the website is www.wolves1877trust.co.uk. My email address, if you want to get in touch with me, is chairman@wolves1877trust.co.uk. We're also on Facebook, Wolves 1877 Trust, and we're also on Twitter @Wolves 1877 Supporters Trust.
Thanks for joining us tonight, Sam.
It's a pleasure.
Sam, you've spoken really clearly, and you seem confident, and I hope you get some success.
Thank you
from your conversations today.
Okay, Manny, you're welcome to come and attend on Thursday night if you can. Same to you, Dave.
Very busy, man. Very, very busy.
I know you are. Same to you, Dave.
I'm looking forward to the reaction.
All right, we'll see you all soon. Thank you for having me.
Take care, Sam.
Thank you, Sam.
So that's Sam Page, who's the new chairman of the 1877 Trust, and you heard it here. He's going to come on with another member who's representing Wolves on the FSA in a couple of weeks, and we can put questions to them to dig more into what they're about, because obviously there's been stigma about it being a closed shop. He's assured us that it's transparent and it's open to all. So finally, who's waited so patiently, we have the lovely... Hello, V. Welcome to the show. Thanks for waiting patiently backstage. Just tell everyone a little bit about you.
Well, we'll give you some loyalty points for waiting so long.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah, means nothing. Well, no, I'm obviously a Wolves supporter, although I've got a Scottish accent. I've been living in Wolverhampton for over 10 years now.
This is the plastic, everyone.
I've been member of the Matchday Experience group for a few years now. I just following on what Sam Payne just said, that there's these people in the groups that the club want in there. I couldn't disagree more, because over the past couple of months in particular, when there's been a couple of decisions that have been questionable, the group have really scrutinised the club, and so far they do seem to listen where they think it's due. But yeah, generally my experience is usually that they do like to listen to the fans. Obviously they do have a commercial business at the end of the day that needs to be profitable, and there's a balance with that, but I think in particular with today what's happened, they are listening. Yeah, but like I say, the Matchday Experience group's been great. I mean, one of the last things that we did that was very, very popular was the Raoul banner, obviously, that came from Kieran's idea initially, which was a huge success and raised a lot of money for charity. And there's just been quite a lot of good ideas from that group. And
can I ask thee, how many people sit on the group? Because I mean, how many is it, and how often do they meet, and what's the breakdown of the demographic? Is the female? Is there an ethnic mix in there as well? The male female mix, young and old.
I think it's very mixed. I'm not a season ticket holder, and I'm part of it, but I'm also a flag waver, so I think I might actually be in the picture.
Oh, you
wave the flag? Yeah.
She's one of these. She's one in the background.
I think I might be there somewhere. I usually do the goal one, so that's one of the best ones actually, if you ask me. But yeah, there's I think during the pandemic, I think we met twice, but normally it was like 2 or 3 times a season. It'd be mostly it would be about match day experience and things like the fan park and that, how to improve that and stuff like that, and just listening to what the fans think. It is a very mixed group, like I say, season ticket holders, non-season ticket holders, old, young. There's quite a few women in there as well. I think there's about 20 people.
Are you aware of the ticket focus group?
Yes, we got the invites a few years ago, didn't we? A few months ago with
Yes.
There were several groups that they're setting up. I think this is because the Matchday Experience group has been good, but it does need to just focus on the Matchday Experience and not things like ticketing or other areas. So I think that again shows that the club is willing to listen to the fans and sees that there is a need for it. So anyone was able to apply for that.
Can I just come in quickly, V? A couple of things. I think it's fair to say there has been some great things that have come out on match days in terms of experience. Wolves were leaders in terms of the pre-match with the fireworks and the FA Cup quarter-final. And, okay, I know we had a problem with one of the fireworks, and then they've gone with the fire. And there's other clubs that have followed suit on Wolves' lead. Yeah. Wolves are quite innovative in that ways. So that's good. Obviously, I think one of the big issues as well on a match day is Wi-Fi connection in the ground. I'm sure that that's been talked about. But before we continue, Chaotic Ranger has decided that he wants to know how he can become a flag waver. So,
with a name like Chaotic Ranger, his flag waving will be epic.
Can you imagine? Come on, he'll be going on with it. How do people become a flag waver?
Well, to be honest, at the moment, there's more flag weavers than there are flags. But I'm pretty sure if you email the club, probably or get in touch with Dave Wood, I'm pretty sure he'll be able to take details and so on. But I want to see how
Chaotic Ranger does his flags, because I reckon he's going to be really interesting. Continue, V. Sorry to interrupt you there.
All I'm going to say is a couple of years ago that you couldn't get enough flag wavers. It was like a job that nobody wanted to do. So and like the goal
last
flag
year you would have been redundant with the amount of goals we scored.
Well. But when I started with the goal flagging, nobody else wanted to do it, and to me, it's the best seat in the house because you're 6 feet away from the emotions and when it happens, it's incredible. I really miss it, and I do hope I get the chance to do it again.
Chris Overfreeze said if they keep charging members and season ticket holders, there'll be more flag wavers than support.
That's a one way of getting it.
Right, that is. So V, I mean, as the group's WhatsApp, I'm sure there's a WhatsApp group got to be. Has that blew up today by any chance?
Yeah. Like I say, the last few times the club's communicated stuff, that has blown up. And like I say, the people in there, well, particularly me, I've been very vocal in that group.
20 quid to join the flag waving list.
That's what they should do. Pay 20.
You know what? They're going to be watching this, and the email will be there tomorrow. Yeah,
raise the money that way.
Can I just say something about the ticket? You know what? You know, when they launched, they asked for people for the ticket focus group. When that hits your mind, if you're okay and you've got a season ticket and you go to all the matches, you're not particularly going to join that. You're going to join that, really, because you can't get a ticket.
Yeah.
So you are going to get what is the demographic of those people? Are they people who are season ticket holders? Are they people who go to every single matches, or are they people who are desperate to get to matches? So their opinion may have been swayed by that.
I disagree. I think there's people in every group of people like yourselves that get involved and stick up for people, or want to be representative of groups of people, and you'll have that among season ticket holders as well, without a doubt. I'm pretty sure that
thinking about that group in particular.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that given how
because their thoughts haven't reflected all these comments and our thoughts on Twitter and Facebook today. They've been completely.
If what you were suggesting is that the only people in that group were people that don't normally get tickets, so aren't season ticket holders, then they certainly wouldn't have came up with what was announced today. So that's whatever that focus group was thinking. I don't know. Personally, when I read the news today, I was gobsmacked. I wasn't impressed at all, because like I say, I am a member. There's not always. Particularly last season, I actually was lucky enough to.
Had you no idea, as part of the match day experience group, that this was coming out today?
No, we don't. Like I say, it's ticketing. It's not match day experience, and because of the confidentiality around stuff, I can't imagine them discussing major things like that with us anyway. They need to be very careful.
That group would probably be led by someone like Vinnie Clark and people like that, rather than
Yeah, and like I say, I'm sure. Yeah, Dave would probably be in that as well. Yeah, and is it James?
I think you mentioned that obviously the WhatsApp groups thing. You've got some interesting news following on from what we've been talking about.
Well, what
Is this an exclusive, V?
Well, unless
Make sure the Sun aren't watching or the Sun.
Following communications with the memberships team, the intentions were good. They genuinely were. I do believe that. They don't want Molineux to be a closed shop. They want all of those kids that are kicking the ball in the park that wear a Wolves shirt to have the chance to go to the Molineux and experience it. Because I know myself. I've got a 10-year-old son, and he's got friends that never get to go to Wolves matches because the parents aren't. The whole loyalty point system for outsiders is complex. I've explained it to a lot of people before that if you want to get to a Man United game, you have to buy tickets for like the cup matches and go to them. You have to go to like the less, you have to go to the Burnley matches when you get them with 100 loyalty points, because that's the only reason why I've got my loyalty points is I went to those cup matches when we weren't flagging, and it's hard to explain that to people, and that would I get where the club's coming from, that those people deserve a chance, but it was never about making money. However, we haven't got it completely right, and the message from fans we have been receiving has been loud and clear, and we are reviewing it.
Can you just repeat that statement again without us? Me and Manuel just keep quiet. Read that out.
Yeah, again. I'll read it out. So, following communications with the memberships team, the intentions were good. They genuinely were. We don't want Molineux to be a closed shop. We want all of those kids kicking a ball in the park, wearing a Wolves shirt, to have the chance of coming to Molineux. This was never about making money. However, we haven't got it completely right, and the message from fans we have been receiving has been loud and clear, and we are reviewing it.
Wow.
So, that's it's positive. It's good.
That is very positive, actually, and I don't think I've had an exclusive before, so I'm absolutely chuffed with that. So, listen, everyone that's been listening and watching, and I've put messages on the Facebook groups, on Twitter, on Instagram, and obviously here tonight. Obviously, that's been taken note of. And they've taken that on board because they've probably underestimated the feelings, and they're going back to have a look at a solution to make and listen to that and try and come up with a better. And will the club be sending that across to all the memberships, or is it going to put a statement out on the website?
I'm assuming that.
I just hope it's not just another email, like somebody just opens one day. Just have a bit of. What you said is a nice thing for Wolves to say as well. You've said it, and I'm sure you've spoken, and fans will believe you. But from the club officially to say, I think we got this wrong, so we've listened to your, and they'll be respected for that, because they are allowed to get things wrong.
Absolutely, Manny. And Tech with ICT says, "Wow, you heard it here. Thanks, V." Lucy Golden Girl, fair play to them for listening. Yeah.
Fans, what? Fans do have a say. We proved that collectively as a nation against the Super League, and we forced multi-billion-pound organisations to back down. And without us, they're nothing. They know that, and we're just normal fans who want to go, and we don't want to cause a fuss. That's not what we're here for.
Yeah, I do think like I say, the club have got a balance, and anyone.
100%.
That they have to draw the line, and they have to give the chance to, especially I know that they've got a pot for like overseas supporters that come.
That's correct. Yeah.
They come. I think they should have a pot for that for non-loyalty points.
Didn't Sam say the capacity's been raised to 32,000? Is that correct?
I'm not aware.
Sam said they've reconfigured it to so that should be extra tickets in the pot for people.
I don't think personally, like I say, I think scrapping the loyalty point system, especially after already advertising memberships and people haven't bought them in good faith to keep there. I mean, I question the legality of that, quite frankly, but I do think that they should keep the loyalty point system, but they should also give a chance to people.
In other words, like what we talked about during the thing tonight, and even some of the members have said, it's just have a split so that they can give that opportunity, quite rightly, to. I mean, they want, the reason that young fans season tickets are so low is because they're the fans of the future. They're going to bring their families. It's a completely understandable and sensible thing to do, because you want to get them hooked, part of the brand and that experience, and then their fans, you know, once you've got the bug and you've got your team, you stick with it, don't you?
Yeah.
And that's it through thick and thin. And with regards to wanting members, of which they've got so many, to everyone to have a chance to get a game for a ticket, you can understand that. But obviously, you've got to balance that up with the fans that have got membership and got the points and stuff. So if they split it, I think most members would accept that as an acceptable compromise, and hopefully that's the way they'll look at going. But it's absolutely brilliant that you've been able to, you know, officially from within the group, from what you tell us here on the channel tonight, and hopefully that
I will have had hundreds of messages and emails and screenshots, you know, from a lot of people. So it's only right that you know, it's a human thing to do, to review that, because we are the people who are going to push them. You know, they want the 12th man. They want us to roar them on to a great season. They need to have us on side, and for 70,000 quid, they were prepared to, you know, rock the boat.
Well, I mean, let's face it, they rocked the boat with the Man United tickets and charged them the full price for the season ticket holders then. I mean, like, say back then, I was kicking off in the group.
Don't even talk about Olympiacos tickets.
Yeah.
That's what needs to be done. I mean, these are why these groups are here, and it's why I think, you know, having the fans parliament was way past, and hopefully the supporters trust. You've seen how important those groups have been when the Super League came in for the Big Six, and it was the supporters' trusts that basically were going, we're not having this. Even though it was them that were going to benefit, they could see the bigger picture, and I think every fan could see. And you to be able to go on and put across those views, and for them to take it on board is a really good news and a really positive. And I always have utmost respect to anyone. You know, if you can say, do you know what, I've got that wrong. I'll put my hand up in the air. I don't care who they are. You have so much respect for that person, because to be able to say I've made a mistake and go and be humble enough to do that is great leadership. So
imagine if our leader of our country had the balls to say, I think I've cocked up on this. Oh, sorry. You know,
but you've got to say that you've got to be big enough to be able to. It's not a weakness to say you've got something wrong.
Can I ask you just one more question? You know, we just heard from Sam, 1877 Trust. The Parliament got rubbish by a lot of people, a lot of fans, prominent people. 1877 Trust. He's tried to clearly tell us that we're not the same, we're different. But it also seems that Wolves have launched their own focus groups. So how are you as a focus group member going to be working with them? Because it's no good him having his own set of ideas and you having your own. You've got to work together. That's the only way it'll work.
Yeah, I think I will join the trust, definitely, but that's just because I'm a very involved person. I like to be involved. I like to be hands-on. That's the whole reason I managed to get into the experience group in the first place. Is just because I'm outspoken.
So you could feed back to the trust the conversations you have in your group.
I don't know if I'd go as a spokesperson for the Matchday Experience Group, and like I say, even the structure and that's changing now that Wolves are creating these focus groups. I mean, previously it was just this group of people that came together a few, I don't know, about 2-3 years ago maybe, and we're changing that now. So I think we're only ever going to be members for a year, and then I have to reapply if I want to join another focus group. And again, there's no guarantee that, which I think is good. I think we do need fresh air in there, and you know, it's good for everything. I do think, like I say, that's the club moving forward, and you know, finding.
You know, a lot of people have mentioned Laurie Dalrymple, and we did lose him, and he was someone who was clearly communicating on Twitter, on Facebook, and that's the thing. You know, I know Jeff said we don't always need to talk and we don't always need to say things, but that's where leadership comes from. Leadership comes from somebody just tweeting and saying, we've listened to you, we've got it wrong, watch this space, let's come up with a better system that benefits everybody, you know, and we don't have that anymore. Who talks to us? So maybe that's one thing we got to stress to the club, that we do need some more clear fan engagement from a leader, not just the groups.
Yeah, agree with
absolutely.
you.
Well, I'm hoping as well. Although he couldn't be a thing today, Russell Jones. He was obviously going to come on this week, but he's had some other issues that he's had to deal with away from the club, actually. But hopefully Russell will be joining us sometime next week.
Russell, I mean, you've had experience of Russell, both of you have, V a lot. He's a good bloke, he's an honest bloke, and he will listen. And he won't always agree, and he will push because it is a business. But you can go back to him, and you can probably have words with him. But he won't. I don't think he's one that will hold it to heart and then try and trash you the next time. He is a genuine bloke. So we have got good people at the club.
I think specifically Russell, I mean, he's a local lad. He's a Wolves fanboy.
He's a Wolves fan.
He's definitely more one of us than some of the other people in the management, which, I think he still has emotion with the club as well, despite obviously having a difficult job.
Which is important. I think you need that within the management team. I think it's really important, and I'm hoping. I mean, let's face it. We're quite positive generally. You look at what Fosun have done for the club and how far they've taken. They've done everything they said they're going to do. That we're not going to agree with everything that they do. We're not going to understand. I know we haven't got time tonight to talk about transfers and other things that we were going to get into. And I always say to
I think this got hijacked today with today's issue.
Yeah, but you judge the transfer window as a whole. We have to judge it as a whole transfer window. And, we have to wait and see what happens. It is a transition period for the club, both on and off the pitch, obviously with the new coach and the new coaching team and all that type of thing. And we'll get stuck into a lot of that. But as I say, Russell, I've always found to be quite approachable, a decent guy. And I'm sure all the rest are as well. And they've all got the best of intentions, but sometimes you get it wrong. And if you can say we got it wrong and we go back and relook at it and we come back, then that's a good sign that you're listening to your customers, and you've got to take a positive out of that, not a negative. So we'll wait to see what more that happens. V, can I just thank you for coming on tonight, and thanks to all of the callers that have taken the time to come on to the show, and everyone that's contributed in the chat, and of course my co-host Manny, always forthright and open and honest in your view. I really appreciate you coming on, V.
Yeah, considering nobody ever saw me, 3 years ago, and I'm a plastic fan, and I've never been to League One, and all these comments I get, carry on. But it's good to see people engaging. Lots and lots of V for PM. Well, let's be honest. PM.
Yeah,
I think anybody would vote anybody right now.
To sort out the pandemic.
She's actually wearing the colour of the new shirt, isn't she? Is that like a new?
It's just regatta.
It's absolutely fantastic. It's been a great show. Obviously, if you've been watching tonight, please, if you've enjoyed the content, please smash a like on the video. Leave a comment in the description below if you're watching it back on YouTube, so we can get your interaction on that. We'll post this out, the link after the show, onto Twitter. We will mention, V, if it's okay with you, that you've made an announcement that from the Matchday Experience Club that they are reviewing the situation, and we'll put the time and the minute where you've said that. People can watch the whole of this back, and this will also be going out on the Always Wolves podcast. We'll try and get that up as soon as possible.
And the people who've been listening, just share, because there's important messages today. You've heard from a Supporters Trust chairman, and you've heard from V, who's spoken to the club and got a message off the club as well. So share it on your social media, get it out to the fans and see what they think.
Yeah, absolutely. Share it far and wide, and feel free to share the link on your social as well, V and Sam, if you're still listening, and anyone that's watching. It's been an absolutely great show. It's not been a negative. It's not been bash the club. It's honest opinion from genuine fans that just wanted to come on. A lot of fans that generally wouldn't normally come on to a video that have spoken about it as well. It's not just about bash the club, and it's all that's what this channel's all about. We don't F and blind, we try and put both sides across, and we try and put reasoned arguments, and hopefully in the end.
I still live with my dad, you know, at this tender young age of mine, and if I am blind, there'll be a clip round my hair. So, you know, it's a very, very positive channel. We try and keep it positive. We will debate in real terms, and this was an issue that needed raising, but we got to try and, you know, look at the good things as well in life. We've had so much crap over the last 16 months, and hopefully football's coming back, and we're there in a full crowd, and anyone who wants a ticket will be able to get a ticket.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Fantastic show tonight. And I hope you've all enjoyed it. And obviously, whether you're listening to it live tonight or you're watching it back or you're listening to it on the podcast, we do wish you all the best wherever you are in the world. And we cannot wait to get back to Molineux on Freedom Day, that first match against Tottenham. What a day that's going to be when we can get a full Molineux back.
I'm busy that day. I'm going to miss it, Dave.
You are joking me.
Believe it, Bruno versus Nuno. I won't be there.
I know what's the irony of that as well. You just couldn't write it, could you?
Honestly, it just frustrates me. You know, the Saturday to Sunday changes. Bring back Saturday football, 3 p.m. You know, oh God.
I'm not sure the Premier League and Sky will listen to this.
Well, put it on. They've got about 14 channels, Sky have anyway.
Me, that's your next job, right?
I just need to hope they bring the flag waving back for then.
V, literally, you've got.
Oh, here we go, Chris Humphries. Can I have your seat, Manny?
You've got a whole host of new recruits as well. Sam's done all right out of the trust, and you've got a whole host of new flag wavers that want to join in as well. So you know, basically, apparently, according to ICT, you can take on Sky. Fantastic.
Oh,
and anyway, with that leaves the show with myself, Manny, all of the guests, and obviously V still on the screen. Thank you so much for listening. Please smash a like, please share, and we wish you all the best from myself and Manny and V. Always Wolves.
Always Wolves. Well done.